I agree with you 100%, man. I think that like the trajectory of, I agree with you in the sense that like there are obviously unmindful practices in business today.
Yeah.
Like 100%. But when does, I guess like, so when you're providing a service to someone, at what point does that service become like when do you start exploiting people? Like when does like, so say we got rid of capitalism altogether. So no more capitalism. We're at square one.
Yeah.
We have a service to provide. When does that service start encroaching on other people's, when do we start exploiting people? What is that line?
The line that I see is when you have to harness resources and labor, and then you package that up and sell that to somebody for more than it's actually worth. So you're sort of exploiting the consumer, but at the same time, the consumer kind of actually knows this. They're sort of like, oh yeah, like I know that you're actually trying to turn a profit, but this is actually valuable to me, so I'm going to agree that this is the same value. But then what happens is the way that becomes siphoned in a system that maybe the CEO or whoever's getting paid the most, they're not taking all the profits, right? They have to funnel it back into the system, but usually they're making the most money. Yeah. So where I see the exploitation occurring is being completely dependent and reliant upon your workforce and keeping profits from them and keeping livable wages from them and keeping accessible healthcare and all sorts of things that we just need as basic human beings, especially mental health care. So if the problem with that system of capitalism is just having to justify that we must make profit and it must be funneled to the top to make a decision that they assume all the risk for and therefore also assume all of the reward for. Whereas it should be equitable. That's what I really believe. And that's kind of where communism had some value to me, where it understood that the workers are what's necessary to garner all that profit in the first place, so it has to be shared with them too. And therefore they have to be shared with to make all the decisions. And I think when we understand human beings' capacity and capability for cooperation, this doesn't sound like such an impossible feat.
And also, it's kind of interesting is like, if you like, everything is really based off competency.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And so anything that's sold it's just someone taking the time to provide a service. People don't understand that every service out there you can do your fucking self. And so like if you were competent enough, you would do it, right? You would have those resources, but most people aren't. Everything is based off competency. And what's crazy is like the redistribution of resources when you're looking at a capitalist system is the same redistribution of resources that light has in the forest. So
I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. And so like what's crazy is like if you're to understand that it's not just like this is a pattern that emerges everywhere in reality, and it's a pattern that we can't run away from. We can never get away from this pattern. Like
I understand that, and I think we don't have to do away with the trading of services and competencies, but my problem is utilizing a system that's predicated on exploitation and profit in order to do so, because what's happening is that natural distribution that you're talking about isn't actually a natural distribution of the competencies with which we are purchasing. You know, it's not like when I'm buying something from Amazon or when I'm using Facebook, it's not because they are the most competent provider of those services, it's that they're the most competent channel of those services. So they are channeling all those products because they understand the system of capitalism and they are competent in that only. And so it's where I start to see like the ultra wealthy and the ultra rich that are able to hoard so much wealth and so much resources, not because they're competent in manufacturing or creating all of those resources and all of those commodities and all of those services. It's because they're competent in owning them.
So like we all need to take accountability for how we interact with the system.
Yes.
So like us, like even just purchasing this shit off Amazon, it did provide us value, and like I said before, like it is a thing to appreciate about capitalism. However, we also decided to purchase a mic from Amazon where we know damn well that they're getting that shit from fucking China because we got 2 mics for $20.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Straight
what
up.
we could do is be like, okay, so what company out there makes mics that treat their employees well? And I need to support those companies if I want to see people not be exploited.
Yeah, but
So,
the hard thing is that a lot of those times, either you're not going to find that company, or when you find that company, it's like, yeah, this is like a $200 microphone.
But that's the thing, though, right? So is it more important to save $200, or is it more important to choose to exploit people?
Individually, it is more important to me to not exploit people, and I'm in a position, luckily, where I can take advantage of that, and I probably should be taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
But this whole conversation is actually reminding me of a quote where individual responsibility is important, but we can't have individual responsibility without collective solidarity. We have to have a collective mindset and a collective vision that says we're not going to allow companies to exploit people and offer this dirt cheap product that a lot of people, if they want it, have to buy, right? We're not, if we collectively say that's not going to happen, then we can have individual responsibility to make sure that we're not letting it happen.
So it's like I understand where you're coming from because you're coming from a place of love. Because all you're doing is you're wanting to like not see people be exploited or be like maliciously hurt for like no reason other than like you're just trying to care about people. So like bottom line, we can all agree that, like, yo bro, like caring about people is probably number one priority. Like, obviously, right?
Yes.
However, like, that being said, what do you do to maintain that? Like how like what responsibility do you bear that makes you valuable to be heard? And what solutions are you actually presenting to the table? Because we could say dismantle it all, fuck it all, like let's tear it down, and it's like, okay, great. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
So
like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
I actually love that you asked this because that's like that's such a valid question, and that's what most people ask me when I sit and bitch about capitalism for an hour, because they're like, "What are you gonna do about it, Nathan?" And it was so daunting, and it was absolutely poison for a little bit. It got to the point where it's like, I can't do anything. I should just kill myself. Like 100%. That's where I went to, because everybody was telling me, Nathan, you can't do it. You can't dismantle the system. So why complain about it? Just, put your head down and shut the fuck up. And so
that's also not taking any responsibility for the problems.
So I had to find a way to mitigate that.
Yeah.
I had to find a way to say, yeah, I can't destroy capitalism overnight. I can't. But what I can do is have meaningful conversations with my friends where all they know at the end of the day is that I care about them, I value them, and I just want a system that does as well.